Hello, welcome into WLOY, Loyola Radio, streaming online at WLI.org and Campus TV channel 111.1. This is After the Whistle, Loyola Sports Talk radio show, airing Mondays and Fridays from 1 to 2 p.m. I am your host today, Jeffrey Bossie, alongside my co-host, Jimmy Cody. Jimmy, how is everything going?
Everything's going well. I mean, I wish that this audio would work on our headsets, but that's besides the point. But besides that, I'm good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the weekend. The weather is beautiful, so that's always a plus. And I think it finally feels like spring. You know what I mean?
It does.
Yeah.
It feels like we're finally turning a corner. Oh, it's beautiful outside
It's
here.
very nice
I
outside.
think it's like 71 or 72 degrees.
Yes.
And for some reason, I'm getting word that no one can hear me. Colin said he can't hear me.
Oh, really? So it's just me.
That's interesting.
Well, that's no bueno.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't know what the deal is. My mic is all the way up, so I don't know if anyone can hear me now. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's so annoying. Anyway, I mean, we'll figure it out, but
Yeah.
we can start with this. The NBA playoffs are going off to a fast start, obviously, and we've had some, I guess, things happen that I guess nobody saw coming. I mean, at least not me. I mean, the Pelicans stealing one in Phoenix. I did not have that happening. And to make matters worse for the Suns, Devin Booker also gets a grade 1 hamstring, and he's going to be out for a little bit.
I think 2 to 3 weeks is what they said.
And I'm sorry. Who's to say they can beat the Pelicans if they don't have them? I wouldn't.
Well, we'll find out tonight. They play Game 3 in New Orleans, so we'll see how the Suns will deal with without having Booker.
Yeah, and then also too, you know what else? I mean, Chris Paul played phenomenal in Game 1, but they're going to ask him a lot of him, and also Mikal Bridges. Those two guys are they're really going to have to step up. Those two, because that is a huge void.
I mean, it's 28 points that you're losing there.
At least 28.
I mean, he's your go-to scorer too. He's your number one option.
I mean, this is a big deal for them. Who are they going to replace him with? Like that is my question.
It's got to be a host of guys, I would think.
It's asking a lot of guys to step up, because also too, like, they don't really have a guy who can score and just pick up and score. Besides Booker, you know what I mean?
Right.
Bridges is already in the lineup, so he's going to score more, and the same with Paul. But I'm talking about the new group of guys that are going to come in. None of them are as an elite scorer.
Right. They have a lot of 3-and-D guys like Jay Crowder, Cam Johnson, and Landry Shamus last year. So they're going to need those types of players to step up, which I think they can do. But I don't know. It's going to be tough. I mean, I didn't think they would face adversity this early on in the playoffs, but we're already in Game 3 of the first round, and the number 1 seed is in trouble. So
I don't think anybody saw that coming at all. And to make, the injury bug is going around, to make matters worse, not the top seed on the other side, but one of the top seeds, the Bucks.
Chris
Middleton. I mean, what is there to say about that?
He's out for the series. Honestly, looking back on it now, they're kind of lucky they won Game 1, because they didn't play that well in Game 1. And then in Game 2, they obviously lost. They're talking about the Milwaukee Bucks here. They are playing the Chicago Bulls. Their Game 3 is actually tonight at 8:30 in Chicago. But yeah, Middleton's like their number 2 option. He is the type of guy where you give him the ball and he can really score in bunches. I mean, he can get hot in an instant. He can really catch fire at any given moment. And we saw it last year, and especially in the finals. He would take over games. And even in the playoffs last year, he was just great. But that's a huge loss for Milwaukee. And Chicago is one of those teams. They just, they're very gritty. They're very tough-minded. And we have Zach LaVine and DeRozan. I mean, those are 2 good scorers. And the question is, can we get help?
Yeah,
that's the question with Chicago.
They also don't have Lonzo Ball. He got injured, so he's not playing in the playoffs. And the way I look at that series is it comes down to Giannis. Giannis has to perform. He has to get them over the top. He's got to put the team on his back, and he's going to be the one who has to do it. He also has other guys like Drew Holiday. You know what I mean? He's going to have to step up too. But I think the void that they lose, not only the shooting, we know Middleton's a good shooter, but it's on defense. That's really where they lose a lot of value.
The thing is, too, they kind of know how to get through a playoff run because they did it last year. They won the whole thing last year.
They didn't have these injuries last year.
Right. And they also caught a few breaks. I mean, I guess you can give them credit for being in Brooklyn, but they didn't play Brooklyn healthy. But, yeah, they did not have adversity win their team. And we'll have to see how they respond. It's definitely a huge loss. I mean, offensively and defensively. He's a great two-way player, Chris Middleton.
But, great two-way player.
But another injury, speaking of the injury bug that's going around, this is a different one because this player has been injured for the entirety of this series so far, but he might be coming back for Game 4. And we're talking about Luka Doncic, the star from the Mavericks. They Game 3 last night against the Jazz out in Utah, and they won again. So they're up 2-1.
And they don't even have their best player.
And they don't have the best player, and not just like any best player. Like he's top 5 probably right now.
Yeah.
And
at least a top 5 scorer.
Yeah. So the question is, like, if he's healthy enough to play Game 4, like, do you think they'll send him out there? Because obviously they're probably better with Luka, but
if they can go up 3-1, that's huge.
Yeah. So the thing is, they got home court back on their side by winning Utah last night. But do you really think, like, if he's like 80%, would you send him out there for Game 4?
If he's 80%, yes.
Yeah, it's tricky. I think he would too, just because like he's Luka Doncic. At the same time, like Jalen Brunson has been on fire. He's another guy that's been coming out of nowhere. He dropped 41 in Game 2, and then I think he had 31 or 30 last night.
Yeah,
in Game 3.
The Villanova guy.
Yeah, we could talk about some Villanova news later too with Jay Wright.
With Jay Wright, yeah.
Yeah, so Dallas is up 2-1 there. They get Luka back. They're one of those teams. They were really hot down the stretch. We talk about teams that are usually hot in March Madness coming into that tournament. But yeah, Dallas is one of those teams that they were really hot. Ever since they traded Porzingis, I feel like they just clicked on like all cylinders. Mm-hmm. They were really playing well. They were 60 for allowing a shot before. It's pretty much it for injuries. I'm blanking on it. Well, Steph Curry was injured coming into the playoffs. He played Game 1. He's been off the bench.
Yeah,
he's played all 3 games off the bench, and it's been great because Jordan Poole has been like
Poole's been going off.
The standout star from that team. And like, who would have thought it'd be Jordan Poole? You would think it'd be like Steph or Clay or Draymond Wiggins, but it's Jordan Poole.
Jordan Poole.
Yeah, Jordan Poole's been playing great. Yeah, they won their Game 3 last night in Denver against the Nuggets. So they're 3-0. I mean, it's all likely that they're going to close it out someday in Denver, but we'll see.
I mean, yeah, the Nuggets do not look good at all.
They were in the game actually for like a while last night. The game was actually pretty close.
Close, but at one point, Jokic was the only guy even in double figures.
Yeah.
And he can't do it all by himself.
Right. That's where like Jamal Murray would be nice to have. But obviously
Porter Jr.
Yeah, they've been injured.
I know. It's not good.
Well, the other game last night that happened was Grizzlies Timberwolves. Oh, it's okay. That was a Game 3 up in Minnesota. It was actually very intriguing because Minnesota went down to Memphis. Stole Game 1. Game 2 was an absolute blowout win for Memphis. So the series shifted to Minneapolis, and talk about a tale of two halves. Minnesota goes up 47-21, like mid-second quarter, and then during a timeout, this is funny. I actually saw this on I don't know what the show name's called. It's a radio show with like Jay Williams and like someone else, like Max Kellerman, and it's on like ESPN Radio in the mornings. And they were saying that the Minnesota coaching staff was just horrendous last night because Memphis went on a 21-0 run like in the fourth quarter, and Minnesota didn't call a single timeout. I was shocked. I was like, wow, how do you not call a timeout when you give up 21 straight points?
Yeah, it's really, I'm very surprised they did not call a timeout.
Yeah, no, but what I was going to say is Minnesota was up 47-21 in the second quarter, and eventually they were up like 51, they might have been 51-27, and during a timeout, the audio caught Carl Anthony Towns saying, like, we're in Minnesota now, we're back here and everything. And the Timberwolves from that point on did not score a single point for the rest of the quarter, and they ended up blowing the lead a little bit. It was 51-44 at the ring, and then Memphis went on a 21-0 run, like I said, and they ended up winning the game, I think, by like 9 or something, like that. 104-95 maybe. So now they go up 2-1. Yeah, there's 3 game threes tonight. It's Bulls, Bucks, Bulls, Suns, Pelicans, and Heat, Hawks. So.
Yeah, and then tomorrow we get we haven't even discussed the series that I feel like's been talked about the most.
Right.
It's not your Sixers.
No, it's not.
They're up 3-0.
Yeah, they have a chance to close it out tomorrow.
Yeah, we're not talking about them though. We're talking about the Nets and Celtics series, which has been dominating the headlines with Kyrie Irving versus the Boston fans. Obviously, we had the middle finger incident on Sunday. Yeah, that was interesting. And also too, I mean, I feel like everybody's talking about Kyrie. Kevin Durant needs to start playing better.
Yeah, he's been bad. And it's crazy because game 2, he had 27 points, but he only made 4 shots, which is crazy. I mean, that's not going to get it done. And it's just stunning to see this. I mean, you don't expect this from a guy like Kevin Durant, who's widely regarded as the best player in the league. I think he was 4 for 17, if I read that right the other night. And game 1, he just wasn't making the shots he usually makes. And credit to Boston's defense. I mean, they're really forced him to take tough shots, and they have a lot of guys they could throw at him. They could throw Brown at him, Tatum, Grant Williams, Al Horford. There's a lot of guys in Boston that could try to contain Durant, and they've done a good job so far. And Kyrie, speaking of Kyrie, he went off in game 1. I know they didn't win, but he had, I think, 39. He couldn't really miss. But game 2, I mean, he deserves, I guess, a little bit of the blame too, because he only had 10 points. I mean, I wasn't expecting him to score 39 again, but like 10 points, kind of like a dud.
No. Yeah, it was just tough for the Nets so far.
Yeah, and I don't really blame the two of them. I mean, obviously, KD needs to play better, and like Kyrie's gonna have it. Like there might be like one off game every once in a while from Kyrie, but they're just supporting cast. They just don't have enough.
And speaking, while we're on the topic too, we have a caller, Colin Burke, who is a die-hard Celtics fan. Yeah, he's a bigger Mets fan, but he's a big.
Talking about perfect timing.
Yeah, he's a Celtics fan. So let's get him on. He's coming in now. How are we gonna hear him though? Just see if it works.
So, Colin, I believe you're on now. Can you try to talk and see if we can hear you? The volume on here is up, but
if not, I can just call him. We could do what we did last time. Yeah, I'll just.
It says he's connecting to audio.
Okay.
Still, it says he's connected to audio.
Right.
Colin, can you hear us?
All right, I'll just call him.
Can you talk? Yeah, so while we wait for Colin to join in through the phone, the key thing here is this defense of the Celtics has just been suffocating. And
all right, there he is. Colin, what's up?
You're on. Yeah, here we go.
I'm just doing it through the phone, okay? All right, so we were just talking about the Celtics net series, obviously. So I mean, you're a Boston fan, so take us through in your mind, like the Kyrie Irving situation on the Boston end. We understand that you guys hate him, but I mean, go into detail for me.
Sure. Yeah, I have to say, if I was gonna, if I had a company that was trying to market a product and I was trying to market it to as many people as possible, I would absolutely hire Kyrie Irving as a spokesperson, because that man generates news like nobody else. Nobody's like Donald Trump, honestly.
That is kind of true. He does find a way to always gain the spotlight. Maybe LeBron too. I mean, LeBron is another guy who does that, but he's also the best player in the league. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at LeBron probably runs a premium. He doesn't act unless it's in a movie. So I'm looking for commercial guys.
That's true. That's true. And
Kyrie
will lead it up. So what have your thoughts been about the series so far? I mean, obviously, like the Celtics have a 2-0 lead. You have to be happy. Jason Tatum has been playing pretty well. Jaylen Brown, they're rolling on all cylinders. Obviously, they don't have Robert Williams, but they've overcome that. And I've been kind of impressed. I don't know with you, by Al Horford. And I mean, was he like 100 years old, still playing?
And the man has turned back time. I'm pretty sure he was on the Ark when Noah set sail on it. But he's come back to give us a really productive 22 minutes a game from the center position. And the Bob Williams going down that injury situation is, I thought it might be the end of the Celtics, especially when they matched up with the Nets. They're kind of an unknown, right? We don't really know what the whole Kyrie KD dynamic was going to be after missing an entire year of it, basically. But, he's really stepped up. The Celtics look great. The Derek White trade really completely revolutionized this team and allowed Tatum and Brown to stop having to facilitate all the offense all the time and allow them to just play their game more effectively. And the team defense has improved because of the increased switchability of all their players. And I mean, just look at when Rob Williams comes back in the next round, like it's going to be scary. It's going to be scary hours for the Celtics, especially if there's no Devin Booker and the Suns, somehow get upset.
Yeah, they are definitely rolling on all cylinders, like we said. And you mentioned the trade. I mean, that's a kind of under the radar thing that I don't think most people consider. I mean, outside of the fans, because I'm over here looking at the stars, and you're talking about Derek White, and he's by no means a star.
No, definitely. I mean, a guy who plays 24 minutes off the bench and averages less than 10 points.
Yeah.
Doesn't really sound like a flashy upgrade at the trade deadline, but he really he's in the close. He's not a starter. He's in the closing unit for the Celtics, and like I said, he just allows Tatum and Brown. Both of them I think are naturally positioned to play off the ball on offense, not with the ball in their hands. And they were kind of the two best facilitators on the team after Gordon Hayward left, so they were being forced to play with the ball in their hands. But Derek White is now that guy who can get them the ball in good spots to score and not have to force them to expel all their energy just getting the open shot rather than making it. So he's been the guy that's allowed them to ascend to that next level through just doing the little things.
So you talked about key additions. I mean, Ben Simmons is supposed to be back, and he's supposed to be playing in game 3. Well, game 4, right? Is he supposed to come back for it, or is he?
I saw 4, but I don't know about 3.
Okay, so he's going to be back for game 4. Do you if the Nets steal one or not steal one, they'll be home. If the Nets win, then game 3.
It's basically a must-win for Brooklyn.
If it's 1-2 and Simmons comes back, are you worried? I would be, because his defensive potential is through the roof. You know that.
Mm-hmm. But genuinely, I expect the Nets to win tomorrow night and defend their home court for one game. The first 2 games of the series were both very close, especially game 1. The Nets could have easily won that game, so I would expect the Nets to win tomorrow night. But I'm honestly not too worried, guys. As far as we know, Ben Simmons wasn't even sprinting in practice until a week and a half ago. So how many minutes is he actually going to play in this game? Is he actually ready to play in an NBA playoff game with an elite defensive team on the other side? He's also not played with any of his new Nets teammates at all in any game this season. He
hasn't played since June of 2021.
Before the season started. We already knew that. And I don't know. I just think the Celtics are just a better team. They have a better, more cohesive roster construction together now than the Nets will.
I understand. I understand your concerns, Colin, but this is an all-star we're talking about. I understand everybody's on the whole Bash Simmons train, but the guy is an all-star at the end of the day. He's been an all-star. He is a phenomenal passer. We know that. And I think he's going to improve their offense a lot. I'm not in terms of shooting, but being a facilitator, he could definitely improve. I think
you're right, but I again come back to that. How many minutes is he actually going to play?
No, that's true. That's definitely a concern. You're 100% right about that. I have no idea how many minutes he played. Maybe 20, 25.
Well, I don't know if Colin can.
They're going to figure it out.
I don't know if Colin can hear me very well because of the audio, but you also got to remember, it's not like this is a regular season game and he has time to figure it out. This is a playoff game. If they're down 3-0 and he's coming in, it's you got to win the game. It's not like he's going to be thrown right into the fire. It's not like he can just kind of feel it out and work on chemistry. This is game 3 and game 4 of playoffs.
No, absolutely, 100%. I can hear you a little better now.
There is no doubt though what he brings to the table, with him being on the floor. He can guard 1 through 5. He's got great mobility. He has a long wingspan. I mean, there's a reason why he was a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year last year. I mean, there's no denying what he can do on that end. It's just the question is, offensively, how is it going to fit? Because you can't really, leave him out on the three-point line because he's not going to take the shot.
Honestly, I am rooting for Ben Simmons just so I could watch him simultaneously upset 2 of the fan bases that I despise the most. the Boston fan base having their hearts ripped out by Ben Simmons would be awesome. And also Kyrie Irving beating them would just be interesting. And then watching the Philly meltdown because, let's face it, they're obsessed. They're obsessed with Ben Simmons. They talk about him at any chance they get. I think they are, yes. he's their boogeyman. He's who they blame everything for. Like any Sixers problems, they're like, well, 25, blah, 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 blah. Like that was their go-to during the season. So whatever. I understand the guy clearly was not great in that one playoff moment, but they're acting like this guy was complete trash. And I know the jump shot, whatever. But the Nets aren't asking him to shoot. They're not. That's not what they're asking him to do. They're going to ask him to play defense and probably facilitate. And those are the two things that he does best. I'd argue those will be the two best players Ben Simmons is ever going to play with in his career.
Yeah, I think so.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think there was no better situation for him, honestly.
Yeah. Here's all I'll say, Jimmy. Just final thoughts on my final thoughts on the Celtics thing. I think that you're obviously right. Ben Simmons is not going to make the Nets worse. Like, they're going to have a better chance to win the series, but I just don't think the pieces are going to come together in time for them to figure it out.
No, that's definitely a concern.
They're just a better team.
No, I understand that not playing together, as we know, has been the Nets' downfall because that was the same thing last year. They could never get the big three to play together when they had Harden, and now they have yet to been able. They really didn't get to play much with Durant and Irving this season,
right?
And they haven't gotten to play Simmons at all. So it's been a complete downfall.
Go out to the blacktop and recruit some guy off the street, the best shooter on the floor, because he'll have about as much chemistry with all their players.
Yeah, and then the Nets. They also don't have Joe Harris, which I think is not talked about a lot. Like that shooting would open up the floor way more for their offense, and I think that's. I don't want to say that's the reason Durant's struggling. I just think that it's a lot easier to focus on Durant taking a shot when he also has the ball in his hands a lot. If he had the ability to kick it to someone like Joe Harris, that would make the offense a lot smoother. Like Bruce Brown just isn't the shooter that Joe Harris.
But they also have Seth Curry and Patty Mills. So
I think Seth Curry should be touching the ball more.
They should, I think, give them more looks. I don't think Patty Mills was that bad the other night. Or even Seth Curry. One of them had 18 points.
Seth Curry?
It was Patty Mills.
Yeah, there are two good NBA players. We know that. Also, too, they got Dragic, which is another guy that they got.
He was good on Wednesday.
Haven't played together.
Right.
So that's been their downfall.
Another geezer off the scrap heap.
Yeah. So Colin, we can shift kind of focuses here while we have you. When is the parade for the Mets?
The ticker tape parade?
Yeah. Oh, wow. You might be the only Met fan. You might be the only.
All-time parade? Yeah. You can have an invite to that. You can go.
Yeah, so obviously Mets fans are very excited. We know about the moves that they made this offseason in terms of getting Max Scherzer, Mad Max. He's obviously a great pitcher, and he's shown that. And they also got Bassett from the A's. That was a pretty good move. He's been pitching pretty well. So tell me your thoughts about the Mets. What do you impressed with?
Mark Hanna, Starling Marte, Eduardo Escobar.
Oh yeah, how can I forget about them?
Some pretty big. You joked, but Eduardo Escobar is in the major leagues in the WAR through 15 games so far. So, here's the thing.
I don't watch the Mets to know who Eduardo Escobar is. I'm gonna be honest with you. I only watch the Yankees.
So that's all right. I know, Jimmy. I know you're a casual fan, but it's all right. So here's my feelings on the Mets, right? So the Mets also do this where they have this really good run to start the season because they end up playing the Nationals or the Marlins the first two series and they go 5-1, and then everybody goes gaga over the fact that maybe it's the Mets year. And then it's the July collapse, baby. Typical July collapse in Flushing, Queens. And I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm not ready to throw up a radio or anything. I will acknowledge they look they do pass the eye test. They look really good. They don't look like Mets teams of the past where they would win games 1-0 because somebody got hit by a pitch forced in a run in the ninth inning, right? That was how the Mets used to win their games. Now the Mets go down a couple of runs, and I'm we'll get it back, no problem. Just I'll tell you what, Lindor right now might be the best player. I'm not saying he's the best player in baseball, but he's playing right now the best player in baseball.
I mean, yeah, he's a good player. We know that. That should be the expectation for him, honestly. Like, I mean, anything less would be disappointing, especially considering the trade and
money
you gave him. You know, I mean, it's kind of the expectation.
He's already a guy who's in the running for Gold Glove at shortstop every year, right? Which is extremely valuable. But this year, he's come out firing. He has 4 home runs. He's hitting over 300 and over 1,000 OPS through 2 weeks of the season. Like, and you look at his numbers from last year.
It's 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks of the season, though.
Well, for sure. But
we've seen guys have great first halves and then fall off.
I mean, yeah. How are your Yankees looking, Jimmy?
Obviously it's not great. You know that. I was very disappointed by Garrett Cole. He's getting paid $36 million. I have an idea. Since I hate Aaron Boone so much, and I think that Garrett Cole isn't performing well enough, I say we stick Aaron Boone like up at a hot dog stand somewhere. Maybe he can work up there. He can manage that. They can give him the computer lineups of like who's going to work the register, who's going to be the cooking on the grill. You know who's going to be doing the vendor cards for the day. They could give him that lineup so he can manage that, and then make Garrett Cole like the manager so we could justify his pay. Like give him like 2 things to do and see if like like a player manager. So that's my idea. I think maybe Garrett Cole should be doing that. Like just because of it, if they're clearly not getting their money's worth for the pitching, so they may as well.
Why don't you stick Aaron Boone up in the radio booth so we can hobnob with John Sterling?
Yeah.
Boone's home run was probably the last Yankee moment that John Sterling actually remembers.
Okay. All right. While we have a second here, I'm not trying to go in on that on like the Yankees broadcast, but they have been horrendous this year, and I'm sorry too. I mean, I love this guy Cameron Maiden that they got, but like he's a good move. I like having him, but I mean, like the color commentator on TV, they always have done great with like a Love O'Neill. What's his name? David Cohn. He's very good. But I mean, the radio broadcast is bad, and it is really bad. I mean, the home run thing, like that's becoming a thing on Twitter. It's just like they have these videos of John Sterling just completely botching these calls, and it's like he thinks it's a home run, and it doesn't even leave the park. I mean, the one against the Blue Jays, it was going viral. I mean,
it doesn't even reach the warning.
Oh my god! Okay, like we used to make jokes about it as like Yankee fans, and you would be like, "Oh, it is high, it is small, it is deep, oh, the outfield." But now he's actually saying it's gone, so it's getting your hopes up, and it's just. Especially for a team that has been as bad as hitting as we have.
Well, especially because it's a radio broadcast, you can't actually see it.
No,
you got to tell it like it is.
Actually, like I'm being honest with you, it is a complete embarrassment. Like the Yankees are the premier franchise in New York, and to have these piss poor announcers is a joke. It's a joke.
I'll say the Phillies might not be great on the field right now, but off the field, the broadcasting's been great.
Well, the Mets, I mean, they have phenomenal broadcasters. I think all the Giants, like the New York Giants, have great broadcasters. I think Bob Wischusen's pretty good for the Jets. Ian Eagle does the Nets games, and Ryan Rucco, they're good.
I like them.
Mike Breen does the Knicks, and then we get stuck with. That's baseball, Susan, and that's us. That's what we are. We're just such a clown show from. Oh, and then we have Michael K too, also.
K-Rod.
Have you watched the K-Rod at all, Colin?
The what?
The K-Rod broadcast on ESPN.
No, I don't watch any ESPN.
I'm gonna watch this weekend because the Phillies are on the K-Rod this weekend.
You're gonna watch eventually when the Mets play, or what do you just go?
We actually we played the Mets on Sunday nights coming up. Actually.
Oh, okay, that's it. Well, I mean, Howie Rose is so good. I could listen to that man call like on anything. Honestly, he will never get the justification or he'll never get the praise he should because he's not like some national broadcaster. But I'm being honest. I mean, I don't think he would ever take the job, but why doesn't ESPN make a run after that guy? You know what I mean?
He's kind of a, I don't want to say it on the radio, but he kind of sucks as a person.
Oh, really?
He's a great baseball guy, but he's extremely abrasive. He used to be the television guy, and he stepped on so many toes they put him on the radio.
Oh, okay. Well, I like him. I think he's very good.
Yeah, I mean, he's great baseball. And he knows a lot about the Mets. That's one thing that, he might not be that great as a national announcer because he just has a crazy, crazy knowledge, understanding of the history of the Mets.
He also called baseball, too, or hockey, too, right? I was going to say.
Does he?
I'm pretty sure he did the Islanders for a while, yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he was good. But I can see what you're saying. I can understand. But also, Gary Cohen is very good. Very, very, very good.
I let's get back to this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's get back to the baseball here. So about the Mets, like what is like I guess the one area that you think they can improve on? I mean, like what is your one concern besides health? Because you obviously want Jacob deGrom back.
Right.
But what's the one area you think they could improve? I mean, also too, I want to throw this in there really quick. Buck Showalter is a very good manager, and I'm very happy he got a job because I like Buck Showalter a lot. So I just want to put that out there.
I agree. I was very happy when they signed him, and he's been phenomenal so far. So looking forward to that. But I mean, there's an obvious answer to your first question. It's just the bullpen. It's kind of the answer for most teams. You know, we need more guys who can throw innings and get outs. Like, you know, we don't need guys who can throw. You know, one day he'll throw 3 strikeouts, and the next he'll go 3 home runs. Like we have enough of those guys. Like, we need guys who are going to get quick outs, pitch to contact, get the hot bats up to the plate again. You know, after we finish it. We just need guys who are not going to give up cheap runs, and that, you know, those guys are in a high demand because, like I said, that's pretty much what every team needs.
I was just saying the one game that we won against you guys in that 3-game series like a week or so ago, well, you guys are up like 4-0, and the bullpen just collapsed it.
Oh, typical Mets bullpen collapse. Always fun to watch.
Well, the other thing I was going to say, it's not really related to the Mets. It's just the other 4 teams in the NL East have been awful so far this season. Like, there's not a team over 500 or at 500 besides the Mets.
The Phillies aren't even 500?
No, we're 5-8. We're actually in last place.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, you guys got destroyed by the Miami Marlins. I almost called them Florida Marlins.
Well, and I know Colorado's been like a good team so far, but we lost 2 out of 3 out there.
Also, too, I mean, let's not act like the Mets have played, you know, these great teams. They've played the Diamondbacks. They obviously played the Giants.
They played the Diamondbacks actually tonight in Arizona.
Diamondbacks twice in a week. Like, the Diamondbacks are not exactly.
Yeah. I mean, if we're looking at the Phillies, who do you think are good team despite their?
I don't know about that. I don't
think
know
the
about
Phillies are a pretty legitimate playoff contender. And
playoff contender. Yeah, they're in contention for the playoffs, but that's it. They're not going to do anything if they get there.
I mean, there's a lot of teams that are worse than that. I'm not saying that they're the best team in the MLB or anything, but they're a quality team that, you know, will win a lot of games.
Hopefully, for my sake.
and the Giants, who I think probably won't be as good as they were last year. They're going to be set back without Posey, as they're not as good a year older. They're an old team, just like we are. But yeah, between those 7 games, they went 5-2, so that's a good sign.
That is a good sign.
That is a positive sign. What are your other thoughts around baseball? I mean, like I know you obviously.
I have a question. I have a question for you, Jimmy.
Sure.
How do you feel about Boone walking Biggie in the 8th inning?
I was okay with it. I was completely okay with it. They were barely giving him anything to hit all day. Like you can tell, they really did not want to give up the hit.
Yeah.
Because I watched the at-bat before when he got rung up on the check swing, and they threw him like 3 outside the zone pitches in a row.
They were throwing him all changeups.
Yeah, they were not giving him anything to hit, and he said he wanted to do it against the Yankees too. I don't know if you saw that, but they were like, "Oh, like what would it mean to do it against the Yankees?" He goes, "The Yankees a scout told me that for the Yankees told me that I should just be a pitcher, and I want to get my 3,000 hit against them."
Like, who cares?
I know. It was so stupid.
It happened like 25 years ago.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say Miguel Cabrera's been playing for a long time. Well, he got fired. Like, what a point of pride for you, Miguel Cabrera. Wow.
Congrats.
Some scout got fired. Good job. I mean, yeah, I had no problem with it at all. I mean, it obviously backfired because
it didn't matter anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter when the team that has Josh Donaldson, Aaron Judge, and Giancarlo Stanton, and Aaron Hicks, and Anthony Rizzo, and DJ LeMahieu doesn't put up a single run. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, I don't know. It's very annoying to watch the Yankees offense. They're horrendous sometimes. And not sometimes, all the time, actually. They're
the Phillies offense has been pretty bad.
And also, too, it's when it's not the offense, it's the bullpen. When it's not the bullpen, it's the starting pitching. There's a problem every night. It's I don't know. I mean, I know they're 7-6, and I'm talking like they're 0-13, but they do kind of stink.
Oh, they're not very good. I don't think.
I don't know if they're not very good. They have, I think, key pieces. I think they should be performing better.
They're just going through the motions so far.
No pitching, so how are you get anywhere?
They literally have quite literally no pitching because the guy they're paying $36 million can't even get out of second inning. So
yeah,
I mean that's bad. That was
tough to win with the other team. It's more limited for on your team.
I mean we still won that game, which I think is the amazing part. But still, I mean that was so bad.
Well, what's your answer, like, for the future five? Like, Sevi has been good so far. But
I think honestly, like I think Severino is going to turn heads. Like I think he's going to have a really big year. Like I was very nervous, but I liked what I've seen so far. I think as we go into the season, I just pray he stays healthy because that's always what it's been with him. But
yeah, I mean, it's never been a question about whether he has the stuff or not. It's just the whether or not.
Well, I was concerned after the injury if he would still have the stuff, if I'm being completely honest. But I mean, he looked very good against the Blue Jays. Very good.
Yeah.
And then also.
I have one more thing about the MLB. Go ahead.
Okay. But also too, I mean, I've been impressed with Nestor Cortez. He's really stepped up. He's pitched really well for us, so I've been happy with that.
Nasty Nestor.
Yeah, but besides that, I mean, take everyone else. They should be selling hot dogs or something because they stink. Garrett Cole stinks. He should be selling hot dogs. He should be. He should
be working at Yankee Stadium selling hot dogs.
Maybe he could work with Aaron Boone up at managing the concessions. So,
Yankees fans said, when I die, I want Aaron Boone. I want Aaron Boone and Garrett Cole to be my pallbearer so they can let me down one last time.
Yeah. Well, that wouldn't surprise me because they let us down both a lot. Or just the Yankees' entire lineup because they let us down. I mean, losing to a series to the Orioles is a disgrace.
What are you talking about? Orange Birds?
We lost a series.
Orange Birds.
I mean, as a Yankee fan, like that is brutal to take.
It's brutal because when you go to Camden Yards and the Yankees are playing, it's basically it might as well be Yankee Stadium.
That when they play, when the Red Sox play, it's like it gets overtaken. I mean, but it was very disappointing. It was very disappointing. Very disappointing to have that happen. So what was your one more point that you wanted to say?
My one more thing is I'm looking at the American League standings right now, and I got the Angels sitting in first place in the AL West, and the Astros sitting in fourth place in the AL West. I really, really, really hope we get to see Ohtani and Trout. I know it's only April, but I hope we get to see them play in the postseason for once. Finally.
Well, didn't you see? Well, okay. Well, we can talk a lot about the Angels because they've been in the news a little bit recently. But Ohtani, yes, he had a great pitching performance the other night. I think he gave up one hit, right? He was very good. Yeah, that guy's he's a great player. Great player. I love watching him. He's phenomenal. As for Mike Trout, we all want to see him in the playoffs. I don't think anyone's questioning that. I mean, he's the best player in baseball. We kind of want to see him there.
Yeah, he's only been there once.
Yeah, and it was for like a cup of coffee.
Literally,
yeah, that was it. So, and we definitely want to see them there. But did you see Joe Madden said he thinks that they're very, very, very close to the Astros? What do you think about that, Colin?
Joe Madden is a weirdo. Nobody should listen to anything that guy says. Do you see him get Corey Seager?
That's the next thing I was going to ask. That was the next thing I was going to ask you. Yeah. You want to hear my thoughts on that? I honestly thought it was insane. It's Corey Seager, not like I understand the guy's a good player. Yeah, I was gonna say it's Corey Seager. Like,
wait, what happened? What was the?
He walked with the bases loaded.
Oh, wow. Like he walked in a run?
Intentionally, yes.
Oh, wow.
And they were losing. Yeah.
That's a little. I don't know. Why would you walk in a run? Wait.
That goes back to my point of you should never listen to anything Joe Madden says because he's kind of a nut.
Why would you walk in a run? When you're losing?
I don't know. They won. I'm pretty sure did they win the game? I'm pretty sure they did.
They did win the game.
They won the game.
Guess it didn't backfire.
Yeah, so he probably looks at it as like a genius. I don't think that was the reason they won the game, though. It was a silly move. It was very odd. I don't know. That's like Barry Bonds level. You have to fear this guy. Like I'm sorry, I do not fear Corey Seager.
No, he's good.
Yeah, but I don't fear him at the plate. I'm not like, oh no, Corey Seager's up.
He's not Hank Aaron.
No.
He's not Babers.
No, he's not. He's definitely not either. Any of those. He is not him. He is not him. He is not any of those guys. Yeah, Colin. So thank you for coming on. I mean, we went on for a while here.
For sure. Sorry I took up all your time.
No.
No, it's great. It's great.
We hit on so many of the topics. Also, too, do you have any crazy draft predictions for the NFL draft?
And the NFL? No, I don't care about the NFL draft.
You don't?
One last thing to say.
Yes.
All right, so they said this on the Tigers broadcast yesterday, I believe. Well, Miggy was up at the plate. They said that when Miguel Cabrera gets his 3,000th hit and he retires at the end of the season, he will be one of 3 players in MLB history to have a 300 career lifetime batting average, 3,000 hits, and 500 home runs. And the other 2 are Hank Aaron and Willie Mays.
Wow.
To put into perspective how good Miguel Cabrera is and how much of a lock of a first ballot Hall of Fame legend
I was
he
gonna
is.
say.
Nothing else.
He honestly, like, I don't think that he's like unanimous, but he should without a doubt be the first
There's
ballot.
no question that he should receive 90+% of the vote of the first.
Who was it that like didn't vote? Was it somebody didn't vote for Derek Jeter? Is that what it was? Or somebody didn't vote for Mariano Rivera?
Mariano was on. He was the first 100.
Okay, so it was Jeter, right? That somebody did not vote for.
Yeah. I mean, who wants Jeter to be in the history books one more time? There's already enough of that guy in there.
I don't know. I miss Jeter. I could use like 10 more years of Derek Jeter in my life.
Yeah, you and every other Yankees fan.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Colin.
Coming on.
Good stuff.
All right.
Hope all is well in the world.
Yep, you guys too. Enjoy your last couple of weeks of the semester.
Thank you, Colin.
Thanks.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, so,
That was interesting.
yeah, that was good. I have our former
Host.
host on here. Yeah,
Host.
former host Colin Burke on the show. Yeah,
Yeah, that was.
I think that was our first time, right? I mean, on since, or did we have one in the fall? Maybe
I had
once.
him on in the fall.
First time in the spring.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was good to have him on.
it was. I agree. It was fun. It was very, very fun. Very fun.
Mm-hmm.
So we have like the last 15 minutes here. We're gonna take a quick break, or no? Let's just roll through.
Let's just keep going.
Let's roll through here. We didn't really get a chance, but to talk about your Phillies. But I mean, you've obviously been pretty disappointed with them. So take me through your feelings.
It's weird because coming into the year, we knew the bullpen was like the main area of concern. I mean, there were other areas of concern, but that was the main area. And honestly, the bullpen hasn't been terrible. The bullpen's actually been decent. But the main thing for me, as to why I think the Phillies are where they are at 5-8, is just the offense has not lived up to the hype. And they spent a lot of money on Nick Castellanos and Kyle Schwarber.
Can't hear me or him. Oh, okay. I guess nobody can hear you then. So it's just been you and I doing this. It's just been the Cody show all day.
The Jimmy Cody show.
Yeah, it's just been the Jimmy Cody show all day. Well, that's interesting. That's always great. Well, unfortunately, it is what it is. So, but anyway, back to what I was saying, or back to what you were saying. Just going with what you were saying. About this.
The offense just hasn't really produced as much as I thought it would.
Yeah.
There's just some games, like games 1 and 2, when we played Oakland, we put up 9 runs and then we put up like 5, and like that's good. Like that's what we would like to see more often than not. And then recently it's just like 1 run, 2 runs, 3 runs. I'm like, this is just not enough. And considering the pitching could do its job, like, and hold them, like the pitching has not been good either. It's just like for this offense to be scoring like 2 runs a game, I think it's I guess it's unacceptable because like you have Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto, Nick Castellanos, Kyle Schwarber, like Reese Hoskins, like all these guys are supposed to be pretty big time like sluggers, and they're putting up like 2 runs a game. I just think that's like the main area of concern. And I think the thing is, they know they can do it. They're just not like actually doing it. Like they're not really getting in the zone. Like, yeah, I know it's early, but I think they can turn it around. And the pitching's been on off. Like I'm really concerned about 2 guys. Like Nola and Eflin have been very alarming so far. Nola, he can pitch really well for the first like 5 innings, and then he always runs into trouble. Eflin just has his command issues, and he just like can't figure out a way to overcome those. The other 3, like Wheeler and Suarez and Gibson, I think they're all going to be okay. But it's early though. I'm not like too worried, but
Not too worried.
it's a little frustrating.
definitely frustrating. I can understand.
I guess the positive side is the last few years we have started hot and then we kind of cool off at the end. So maybe hopefully it's the reverse. We kind of find our stride eventually and then keep it. But we'll see. It's gonna be a tough division. I mean, how tough the NL East usually is. I mean,
it is, especially the way the Mets are playing. That
and the Braves are the defending champs, so you can't ignore them either. Eventually, you think they'll find a way and come around, but yeah, there's my thoughts on the Phillies. Yeah,
definitely. Also, too, you know what else? When it comes to baseball, one of the teams that I guess has kind of surprised me. I know this is crazy, but I've been seeing that guy that the Cubs signed from. Is he from Japan? I don't know what his name's like. Shige.
I've heard of him.
Do you know what I'm talking about? That he's playing pretty well for them.
Yeah,
he's an.
I really paid attention to it, but there's another guy that I was paying attention to. He's on the Guardians. I forget his first name. I think his last name is Kwan, Kwan or something along those lines. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing it or if it's a wrong name, but he was batting really well early in the season. In the first week and a half or 2 weeks, I don't think he struck out once. I think every time he got into the play, he either walked or he made contact or something.
Oh yeah, his name's Sia Suzuki.
Sia Suzuki.
Yes.
Is he Japanese? Do you know?
Yeah, he's from Japan.
So I'm actually gonna say there's a Japanese player over in the Japan League, and I think he might be coming over to the MLB next year. And I don't know if you know who he is. I don't even know what his name is, but he had a perfect game like 2 weeks ago, and then he came out in his next start and had a perfect game for like 7 innings before they pulled him. I was like, this guy's legit. I've really never seen that before.
That's insane.
Isn't that insane?
Very insane. Yeah,
I saw that. I was like, I've never seen this before.
Yeah, that is actually insane. I know I didn't hear about it at all, actually, but that's great. You think the Phillies gonna make a run at him? They need some pitching.
Yeah, I mean, we're clearly a team that likes to spend money, so
yeah, interesting.
I don't know. Well, I was gonna bring this up earlier in the show, but we mentioned it. But Jay Wright retired, so
that is huge.
It's a little stunning.
I did not see that coming at all.
I didn't either.
And apparently, this has been under Villanova knew that this was a possibility for a while, and I guess the man that they were hired was the Fordham coach.
Yeah, Kyle Neptune. He actually was an assistant at Villanova for a while under Jay Wright, and then he left and took that job at Fordham, and now they rehired him as the head coach. So I think it's a good move. Because I think Jay Wright said if there's one guy that knows Villanova basketball like very, very well, it's Kyle Neptune. So I mean, sounds good in hindsight.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's no Jay Wright.
No, it's tough to replace Jay Wright. I was gonna say Villanova he made them not that they weren't a blue blood, but he solidified them
right
as a blue blood.
Yeah, when you think of the blue bloods, I mean, you're having this conversation 10 years ago, Villanova wouldn't be in that conversation. It would be Duke, Kansas, Kentucky, North Carolina, all of them.
Yeah.
But after winning 2 titles, 2 and 3 years, I mean, they're definitely one of the top programs in the country. It'd be weird to not see him on the sideline. He's a great coach.
Yeah, it is going to be weird not seeing him on the sideline. He is a great coach. I will say that man always wore a great suit. I will say that.
His wardrobe is very nice.
Also, he was only I think somebody said his age was 60.
Yeah, I think he's only 60 years old.
I can't believe
around 60 years old.
I can't believe he's 60 years old. That's the part that maybe surprised me the most.
So I'm reading the article here on my phone right now, and he kind of explained his retirement. He just said he didn't have the edge that he always had. And he said, during this season, it started to hit me. I don't know, maybe he just thought it was time. And he said, we wanted to leave this in a better place than we found it. So, what were you going to say? You going to say something?
I was going to say there's other Philly sports news, too. Eagles' legendary receiver, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, is making the move from wide receiver to tight end.
I love it.
You love it.
I mean, listen, I know he's had a very, very tough career, to say the least. I mean, that might be an understatement, but I don't know. I mean, if he thinks he could produce more as a tight end, I mean, why not? But we do need receiving, and it's too bad we spent, I think it was a first-round pick on him, and
It was a
second round pick.
Second round pick. I was gonna say.
Yeah, second round pick, and obviously it's not panned out. But
yeah, no, it's definitely not panned out.
Yeah, maybe the position switch.
Got DK Metcalf, I
believe. Yeah, you are right about that. I don't. It's weird because I always talk, or not. I mean, I guess my friends and people that like the Eagles always bring up the Justin Jefferson, like Jalen Reagor thing, but not a lot of people remember that we could have had DK Metcalf. I mean, there's a lot of scenarios for like any team with any sport in that, but
every team could have DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
So
I'm just saying, like, there's other teams in other sports that have those scenarios. Like, I remember the Timberwolves with Steph Curry. They had a chance to get him like twice, and then
took Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn.
Yeah, and like I guess looking back now, Rubio was like a decent player. I mean, he's a pretty good player.
Never
like a star.
He was never the level as he was.
Well, I couldn't even tell you who Johnny Flynn was.
You don't remember Johnny Flynn?
Like I know who he was, but like
he was a very good college player for Syracuse, point guard.
I just he didn't
band.
Yeah, he didn't really pan out. Like I can tell you what he's doing today.
Not pan out at all.
Can I tell you where that man is today?
He's working at the hot dog stand with Garrett Cole. That's where he is. That's kind of funny. So take me through kind of like the Sixers. We got big playoff series. You're up 3-0. You got to be happy about that.
Oh yeah. So game 3, I knew going up there was going to be tough to Toronto.
Rival.
Yeah. So we knew that coming in because he's partially vaccinated, and obviously he's a big loss, especially defensively. He's one of the best ISO wing defenders in the NBA. So that was tough to overcome, and they were down the whole game. I don't think the Sixers led for a very long time. And when they did, it was in the last like 0.9 seconds or some other time early in the game. And Embiid's shot, I mean, that whole possession was crazy because the Sixers got the ball back, I think, with like 20-something seconds. I could be wrong though. And they give it to Embiid over on the left side, and he's just standing there kind of trying to kill the clock. And there was like 7 or 6 seconds left. And then Precious Achua, like pokes the ball. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you gotta make a move at some point. So he pokes the ball, and luckily they get it back. And Doc Rivers calls timeout because they were gonna get a shot clock violation. I forget like Maxey had the ball or something, or Embiid or that. Yeah, they found Embiid in the corner and made an incredible 3-point shot.
Yeah, that was a nice shot. I saw people saying revenge for the last shot. That's a little much.
Like, I guess in the sense that, like...
There's no revenge.
Yeah, I know. It's Game 7 versus Game 3. Game 7 was... I mean, it doesn't really matter when the Game 7 would be, but... Yeah, like a Game 7 buzzer beater versus a Game 3, like... I get it, though, in the sense of, like, hey, he did it in Toronto, but... I don't know. It might have felt like a little bit of payback, but... Yeah, I'm glad we got the win. Hopefully the Sixers will close it out tomorrow. Toronto in Game 4. Yeah, they're looking strong.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't play great Game 3, but I thought they looked pretty... Like, the first 2 games, I was pretty satisfied.
Yeah, Maxey looked phenomenal Game 1. So.
Yeah, so did Harris. Harris was good. Harris was good. They're both good games, too, man.
Yeah, so if you guys can go get a sweep, I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, that week of rest could be nice.
Yeah.
An extra week of rest that you could get for yourself.
And then who would you play on the second round?
We would play the winner of the Miami-Atlanta series, which is probably going to be Miami. They do play tonight, so we'll see. The Game 3 is in Atlanta, so we'll see if Atlanta can get back in it. The bracket setup is pretty nice for the Sixers because they'll dodge Brooklyn, Boston, Milwaukee till the conference finals if they were to get that far.
Wow, that's
a nice setup.
That works in your favor, yeah. I was going to say.
I mean, but assuming they move on in the second round, I mean, Miami is no joke. I mean, they're a tough team, very, very deep.
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued in the Suns Pelicans right now. Like, that series is really...
Especially with Booker going down and gets...
We'll see tonight at 9:30. That's Game 3.
Yes.
And we didn't really talk about, like, the Pelicans. We talked about the Suns part of it with Booker's injury. The Pelicans have, like, dudes that can score, like Ingram and McCollum.
Yeah, they've played well together. The McCollum move was very under...
Very underrated.
Yeah.
Underrated, too.
Like, me honestly, too, like... Imagine when they get Zion back.
I was going to say, a lot of people are like, imagine if they had Zion in this series and all that.
No, it's a shame. I really want to watch Zion play.
And they have other guys who we're not talking about a lot, like Herb Jones and Troy Murphy. Like, they can hit shots.
Alvarado, yeah. Grand Theft Alvarado. That's his nickname. I was going to say. That guy's, I like that guy in college. I was very...
who are you playing for?
Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech, right.
I'm happy to see him doing well.
You got a deal. Take a long-term deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good player.
A lot of storylines in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. My Brooklyn Phoenix finals pick is not looking too hot right now. Considering Brooklyn's down 2-0, and listen, I know Phoenix is playing the Pelicans, but they got to go on the road and win a game, and then they don't Booker. So
it's interesting because last night you said this to me, and I don't know if you still feel this way, but you said if the Jazz lose this series, they got to blow it up. You agree with that?
I did say that, and I guess blow it up in the sense that like
about it, and I kind of agree.
So blow it up could mean like a lot of things. We mean in the sense that like, do you think? I don't think they should trade Gobert or Mitchell. Like maybe one of them.
I would trade Gobert.
So their problem is offensively, they don't really have a clear number 2 option. No. And I think it's kind of an answer in this series that Bojan Bogdanovic is the number 2. Because you could argue Jordan Clarkson's the number 2, but he also doesn't start. So, and the other bit disappointment is Mike Conley has been massive disappointment.
Yeah.
He had 0 points in game 2.
Yes.
And they're paying him a lot of money. It's partly because he signed a big deal in Memphis a few years ago. But they could blow it. I mean, they've been stuck in the middle for the last 5-6 years, ever since they got to the playoffs under Quinn Snyder. And I think Quinn Snyder's a good coach, but sometimes he just doesn't make adjustments mid-game that need to be made. And it costs them. Also, they also have a bad reputation of just blowing leads. Like, we obviously saw last year when they blew the 2-0 lead to the Clippers without Kawhi.
Bad.
But yeah, this is just one of those series where you would think they could win it. I mean, no Luka for the first 3 games, potentially 4, and they lose 2 of the 3.
That's bad.
Because they came out game 1, they didn't really offensively won 99-93, but they won.
Yeah.
Game 2 and game 3, just couldn't get it done. They're frauds.
Yeah. It's definitely a tough way for them to end the season if this is how it is.
Do you think they would trade both though, Gobert and Mitchell? They're both signed, I think, but I don't know how long they're signed for.
It depends on the deals you get, honestly. You have to see what you're getting in return.
Yeah.
Because honestly, that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. And speaking of the end, unfortunately, that'll do it for our show.
Yeah, that's all the time we have for today. It was really weird because we can't hear ourselves through our headsets here.
We have no idea if anybody can hear you.
That's true too. Yeah. So we won't be posting it on YouTube. So hopefully the audio will go through there.
If that works.
Fingers crossed. But thank you for listening. We will be back on Monday talking some more NBA playoffs, baseball, and a lot more. So thank you for listening, and we will see you on Monday. Have a great weekend.